You know, when you picture autonomous delivery, you probably imagine drones zipping between shiny skyscrapers in some futuristic city. But today, we're going to dive into the story of China's logistics revolution. And I think you'll be surprised to find out that its biggest impact, well, it's not happening where you'd expect at all. So, to get a sense of just how massive this is, look at this number, 1.8 billion. That is the number of parcels delivered in China just this year alone. A volume like that puts incredible pressure on the system to innovate, and boy, is it speeding up the adoption of driverless tech. But here's the real kicker. That 1.8 billionth package, it was handled without a single human touching it along its main journey. I mean, it went from a driverless warehouse, got loaded onto a driverless truck, and was taken to its final handoff point. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. This is happening right now. And while driverless taxis seem to get all the headlines, the numbers tell a totally different story. The logistics industry is the real trailblazer here. There are already over 6,000 autonomous delivery vehicles out on the roads across the country. That's more than double the number of robotaxis. The delivery industry has by far become the biggest adopter of this technology. So, with this absolute explosion in automated logistics, you've got to ask, where is this massive fleet of vehicles actually making the biggest impact? The answer isn't just in the gleaming megacities. No, it's somewhere far more unexpected. First, let's talk about the place we all picture, the urban drone playground. We're talking about high-tech hubs like Shenzhen, where autonomous delivery is already just woven into the fabric of daily life. It really is a glimpse into the future of convenience. And you just have to hear what people are saying. One customer was absolutely blown away after ordering a couple of humidifiers. He said, "I got those humidifiers faster than I could get a pizza." I mean, that's the kind of instant gratification that's quickly becoming the new normal in these cities. So in a place like Shenzhen, this means you can get a guaranteed 15-minute delivery for pretty much anything up to 2.5 kilos within a 3-kilometer range. And it's not just for stuff you buy online. It's being used for hot food, for critical business documents, even for fresh produce that friends and family are sending to each other. But here's where our story takes a really crucial turn. See, the goal of this technology is completely different depending on where you are. In the cities, it's a race. It's all about meeting this ever-growing demand for pure speed. But out in the countryside, it's about solving a much more fundamental problem, just overcoming the challenges of tough terrain and massive distances. And that brings us to the real heart of this revolution. This technology is becoming a rural lifeline. Out here, it's not just a cool convenience, it's an essential service. It's finally cracking that age-old last-mile problem for communities that have always been difficult and super expensive to serve. And the human impact is it's profound. Think about this. In one mountain village, drones are delivering hot meals to elderly residents, making sure the food actually arrives warm. And another, farmers can get their fresh vegetables to a market 10 kilometers away in just minutes instead of hours. And for so many people, it simply means they don't have to make a 60-kilometer round trip anymore just to pick up a single package. The scale of this is hard to wrap your head around. Okay, get this. In one county out in Xinjiang, we're talking an area 24 times the size of a major Beijing district, but with a tiny fraction of the people, a single driverless vehicle is handling over 500 packages every single day. That is a complete game changer for efficiency in places like this. So what's the engine behind this incredible rural adoption? Well, it really just boils down to a powerful, simple combo. The technology is proving to be smarter, cheaper, and faster than the old way of doing things. The economics here are just undeniable. One delivery station owner actually did the math. By swapping out her old methods for 3 driverless vehicles, she saved 65,000 yuan. That's over $9,000 on fuel, insurance, maintenance, and labor. The business case is just impossible to ignore. So let's break that down. A few core advantages are really driving this. First, these are electric vehicles, so fuel costs are basically nothing. They completely eliminate the cost of a driver. They offer amazing flexibility. You can do several smaller runs throughout the day instead of waiting to fill up one giant truck. And of course, they can run 24/7. They don't need shifts or breaks or sleep. But this whole story is about so much more than just getting packages from A to B. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the huge socioeconomic impact this is having on the entire country. When you get right down to it, we need to see autonomous logistics as more than just a delivery tool. It's becoming a critical piece of modern infrastructure. It is the link that connects remote communities to markets, that reduces their isolation, and that allows them to be a bigger part of the national economy. You see, in a country with some of the most advanced megacities in the world, there's a very real danger that rural communities get left behind. This technology is acting as a bridge, making sure that progress and access to goods and services reach everyone, not just the people living in those big urban centers. Of course, a revolution this big is never going to be perfectly seamless. As this tech gets rolled out more and more, there are new and sometimes very unexpected hurdles to clear on the road ahead. And here is a fantastic, real-world example of that friction. In some villages, there's a long-standing tradition where farmers lay their harvested corn out on the public roads to dry in the sun. Well, the autonomous vehicles, which are programmed to just follow the road, couldn't recognize this as an obstacle and just drove right over the corn. This, as you can imagine, led to some conflicts. It's a perfect example of the adjustment period as humans and robots learn to share the same space. And this really brings us to our final thought. This technology isn't just changing logistics, it's fundamentally challenging our ideas about geography and community. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. When a tiny village tucked away in the mountains has the exact same access to goods, services, and markets as a major city, what does the word remote even mean anymore?